Have you ever wondered if the universe gives second chances? If you're enjoying this story of unexpected reconnection and new beginnings, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartwarming tales that remind us it's never too late for love. Jack Sullivan's hands trembled as he straightened his only decent tie in the rearview mirror of his weathered pickup truck. Parent-teacher night at Westridge Elementary wasn't exactly where he'd expected to have a panic attack, but here he was, breathing into his palms like he was about to walk the red carpet instead of the linoleum hallways of his daughter's school. "Dad, we're gonna be late." 8-year-old Lily bounced impatiently in the passenger seat, her dark curls, so like her mother's, bobbing with each movement. "Ms. Peterson said she has something important to tell you about my science project." Jack forced a smile. "Can't keep Ms. Peterson waiting then, can we, Lillipad?" Single parenthood had become Jack's identity over the past 3 years, ever since Sarah had walked out, deciding family life wasn't for her after all. He'd been left with a devastated 5-year-old and a construction job that barely covered the bills. But they'd made it work, him and Lily against the world. The elementary school buzzed with activity, parents in business attire checking watches, children dragging their reluctant guardians from classroom to classroom. Jack felt underdressed in his khakis and button-down, the collar slightly frayed from too many washes. But Lily didn't notice as she pulled him eagerly toward her third-grade classroom. "Ms. Peterson is the best teacher ever," Lily chattered. "She knows everything about space and dinosaurs, and she even has a telescope that she brought to class once." Jack nodded, only half listening as they navigated the crowded hallway. His mind was on the stack of bills waiting at home and the extra shifts he'd need to pick up this month. The school's fluorescent lighting made his eyes ache after a long day at the construction site. They turned the corner into Lily's classroom, decorated with student artwork and science projects. A small group of parents were already seated in the 2 small chairs, looking uncomfortable but attentive. "There she is," Lily whispered excitedly, pointing toward the front of the room. Jack looked up, and the world stopped spinning. Standing by the whiteboard in a simple blue dress was a ghost from his past. Her hair was shorter now, styled in a professional bob instead of the long waves he remembered running his fingers through on lazy summer afternoons. But those eyes, warm brown with flecks of gold, were unmistakable. Eyes he'd once sworn he'd never forget, then spent 15 years trying to. Elena Chen. His first love. The girl who'd broken his heart when she left for college on the opposite coast, both of them agreeing long distance was impossible. The girl he'd measured every subsequent relationship against, always finding them wanting. She hadn't noticed him yet, busy greeting other parents with a warm smile that hadn't changed a bit. Jack considered grabbing Lily and making a run for it, but his daughter was already bounding toward her teacher. "Ms. Peterson. I brought my dad like you asked." Elena turned, her professional smile freezing on her face as recognition dawned. "Jack?" she whispered, the name escaping her lips like a long-held breath. "Hi, Elena," he managed, his voice rougher than intended. Lily looked between them, confusion clear on her small face. "You know my dad?" Elena recovered quickly, her teacher persona sliding back into place. "We went to high school together, Lily. A long time ago." She smiled at Jack, but he could see the questions in her eyes. "It's good to see you again, Mr. Sullivan. Why don't you have a seat? We'll be starting soon." Jack nodded mutely and found a chair in the back row, his mind reeling. Elena Peterson. Not Chen anymore. Married, then. Of course she would be. Someone as brilliant and beautiful as Elena wouldn't stay single long. He felt an irrational stab of jealousy toward the unknown Mr. Peterson. The presentation began, but Jack barely registered Elena's words about curriculum and learning goals. Instead, he found himself noticing how she gestured with her hands when she was excited about a topic, just as she had when explaining physics concepts he couldn't grasp in high school. How she still tucked her hair behind her ear when she was concentrating. How 15 years had only made her more beautiful, adding confidence and grace to her movements. When the formal presentation ended and parents began moving around the room to look at student work, Jack remained frozen in his seat. Lily was already dragging him toward her science project display, chattering about planets and gravity. Ms. Peterson helped me with the rings around Saturn, Lily explained proudly, pointing to her solar system model. She stayed after school 3 days to help me get it right. That's really nice of her, Jack managed, his eyes drifting to where Elena was speaking with another parent. Dad, are you even listening? Lily huffed, hands on her hips in a pose that made her look startlingly like her grandmother. Sorry, Lillipad. It's just been a long day. He forced himself to focus on his daughter's project, asking questions and making appropriate noises of admiration. Eventually, the crowd thinned as parents and children departed. Jack deliberately lingered, helping Lily gather her things slowly, waiting until they were among the last in the room. He needed to say something to Elena, though what, exactly, he wasn't sure. Lily, your solar system model is definitely one of the best in the class, Elena said, approaching them with that warm teacher smile. You should be very proud. Thanks, Ms. Peterson. Lily beamed. Dad helped with the base, but I did all the planets myself. I can tell. You have quite the artistic touch. Elena's eyes flicked to Jack, then away quickly. Actually, Lily, would you mind helping me collect the name tags from the other desks? I need to speak with your father about something. Lily nodded eagerly and scampered off to gather the abandoned name tags, leaving Jack and Elena in an island of awkward silence. So, they both said simultaneously, then laughed nervously. You first, Jack offered. Elena took a deep breath. I had no idea Lily was your daughter. When I saw Sullivan on my class list, I never made the connection. It's a common enough name. Yeah, well, I had no idea you'd become a teacher. Or moved back to Westridge. Jack shoved his hands in his pockets to stop himself from fidgeting. Last I heard, you were heading for big things on the West Coast. A shadow crossed Elena's face. Plans change. Life happens. She glanced over at Lily, who was meticulously stacking name tags. She's wonderful, Jack. You must be very proud. She's everything to me, he said simply. Her mom's not in the picture anymore, so it's just us. Elena's expression softened. I'm sorry to hear that. Divorce is hard on children. Yeah, well, we manage. He hesitated. And Mr. Peterson? Is he? A small, sad smile touched her lips. There is no Mr. Peterson. I kept my maiden name professionally. I was married, briefly. It didn't work out. Jack tried to ignore the leap his heart gave at this information. I'm sorry. Don't be. Ancient history now. She glanced at her watch. Listen, I actually did want to talk to you about Lily. She's incredibly bright, Jack. Her understanding of scientific concepts is advanced for her age. I think she would benefit from our school's STEM enrichment program. Jack's heart sank. Extra programs meant extra fees he couldn't afford. I don't know if we can swing that right now. Things are a bit tight with just my income. Understanding dawned in Elena's eyes. There are scholarships available. Lily would definitely qualify. I'd be happy to help with the application. That would be great, actually. Thank you. An awkward silence fell between them again, 15 years of unspoken words hanging in the air. Dad. I got all the name tags. Lily announced, returning with her stack. Can we go for ice cream now? You promised if I got a good report. Jack smiled at his daughter's transparent attempt at manipulation. I said we'd see, remember? Please. Lily turned to Elena with a conspiratorial look. Miss Peterson, don't you think ice cream is a good reward for having the best solar system model? Elena laughed, the sound sending a jolt of recognition through Jack. Well, I can't officially say it was the best, but it was certainly exceptional. See, Dad? Exceptional means ice cream. Jack shook his head, amused. You're too smart for your own good, kid. He glanced at Elena. Would you like to join us? To discuss the enrichment program, I mean. The invitation hung between them, weighted with possibilities. Elena hesitated, then smiled, a real smile, not her teacher smile. I'd like that. Just let me pack up my things. As they walked to the parking lot, Lily skipping ahead, Jack felt like he was moving through a dream. Elena Chen, Peterson professionally, was walking beside him, close enough that their hands occasionally brushed, sending electricity up his arm like they were teenagers again. So, construction? Elena asked, nodding toward his truck with its company logo. Yeah, Sullivan Construction. My dad's company. I took over after he retired. That's wonderful. You always did like building things. The fact that she remembered such a small detail about him made Jack's chest tighten. And you always wanted to change the world. Teaching third grade is a bit different from becoming a research scientist. Elena's smile turned wistful. I did the research scientist thing for a while. Silicon Valley, cutting-edge technology, 16-hour days. Then I realized I wasn't changing the world, I was just making rich people richer. She watched Lily, who was examining a caterpillar on the sidewalk. Teaching these kids, showing them how amazing science can be, that feels more like changing the world to me. They reached the parking lot, and Jack was about to suggest they take his truck when a sleek black Tesla pulled up beside them. The window rolled down to reveal a young man in a suit. Ms. Peterson. Sorry I'm late. The board meeting ran over. Elena sighed. It's fine, Ryan. I was just heading out for ice cream with one of my students and her father. She turned to Jack. This is Ryan, my assistant. Ryan, this is Jack Sullivan and his daughter Lily. Jack blinked. Assistant? What kind of elementary school teacher had an assistant? Ryan's eyes widened slightly as he looked at Jack. Oh. Mr. Sullivan. It's an honor to meet you, sir. Jack's confusion must have shown on his face because Elena quickly interjected, Ryan, could you call ahead to Scoops and let them know we're coming? Tell James to put it on my tab. Of course, Ms. Peterson. Will you need anything else this evening? No, that's all. Thank you, Ryan. As the Tesla pulled away, Jack turned to Elena with raised eyebrows. Your assistant? And you have a tab at Scoops? Teaching must pay better than I remember. Elena looked suddenly uncomfortable. It's complicated. I should have mentioned it earlier, but it never seemed like the right moment. She took a deep breath. I don't just teach, Jack. I own Horizon Educational Technologies. We develop learning software and educational tools for schools nationwide. Jack stared at her. You own a company? I'm the founder and CEO, yes. She looked almost apologetic. Teaching Lily's class is something I do because I believe in staying connected to the classroom. It keeps our products grounded in what teachers and students actually need. Jack felt like the ground had shifted beneath his feet. The Elena he'd known had been a scholarship kid with big dreams. Now she was standing before him, a successful CEO who apparently had assistants and drivers at her beck and call. Wow, was all he could manage. That's impressive. Dad. Are we getting ice cream or what? Lily called, already at his truck. We're coming, Lillipad. Jack called back, grateful for the interruption. He turned back to Elena. So, I guess you don't need a ride then? I can meet you there, she said softly. Unless you'd rather not. The uncertainty in her voice, so at odds with the successful businesswoman she'd become, made something in Jack's chest ache. This was still Elena, his Elena from all those years ago, beneath the polished exterior. "No, I want you to come," he said firmly. "Lily would be disappointed if you didn't." "Just Lily?" Elena asked, a hint of teasing in her voice. Jack felt heat rise to his face. Maybe not just Lily. The smile she gave him then was worth all the awkwardness of the evening. At Scoops, the local ice cream parlor that had been a Westridge institution since they were kids, Jack watched in amazement as the owner himself came out to greet Elena, ushering them to a private booth in the back. Lily was wide-eyed at the special treatment, especially when James brought out an ice cream creation that wasn't on the menu. "The Horizon Special," he announced with a flourish, setting down a concoction of chocolate and vanilla ice cream with caramel swirls and edible gold flakes shaped like stars. "For our favorite customer and her guests." "This is so cool!" Lily exclaimed, digging in immediately. "Dad, Ms. Peterson must be, like, super important." Jack caught Elena's eye over his daughter's head. "Yeah, I'm getting that impression." As Lily devoured her ice cream, Elena explained the STEM enrichment program in more detail. Jack tried to focus, but he kept getting distracted by the way the light played on her hair, the animated way she talked about educational opportunities, the genuine interest she showed in Lily's future. The scholarship would cover everything, Elena assured him. "And transportation is provided for after-school sessions." "That sounds amazing," Jack admitted. "But I don't want special treatment just because." He trailed off, unsure how to define what they were to each other now. "Because we knew each other once?" Elena supplied. "Jack, every child in that program is there on merit. Lily deserves this opportunity. The fact that her father and I have history doesn't change that." History. Such a small word for what they'd shared. First love, first heartbreak, the benchmark against which Jack had measured every relationship since. "Dad, can I go look at the flavors for my second scoop?" Lily asked, her first bowl already empty. "Sure, but stay where I can see you," Jack replied, watching as she skipped to the display case. Alone with Elena, Jack felt 16 again, nervous, tongue-tied, desperate to impress her. "So, CEO of an educational technology company. That's a long way from the girl who wanted to work for NASA." Elena smiled ruefully. "Life takes unexpected turns. After my PhD, I developed a learning app for my niece who was struggling with math. It went viral, investors came calling, and suddenly I was running a company instead of a research lab." She stirred her barely touched ice cream. "What about you? Construction wasn't exactly your dream either." Jack shrugged. "Dad needed help after his heart attack. I came home from college to help temporarily, and temporary became permanent. Then I met Sarah, Lily came along, and..." He spread his hands. "Here we are." Jack looked over at Lily, chatting animatedly with the server about ice cream flavors. "Not for a second. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. She's lucky to have you." "I'm the lucky one." Jack hesitated, then asked the question that had been burning in his mind all evening. "What about you? Any kids?" Elena's expression clouded slightly. "No. My ex-husband didn't want children, and by the time I realized that wasn't going to change, the company was taking off. After the divorce, there never seemed to be the right time or the right person." She looked down at her hands. "One of my few regrets." The vulnerability in her admission made Jack reach across the table, covering her hand with his. "It's not too late, you know." Elena looked up, surprise and something else, hope, maybe, flickering in her eyes. "Maybe not," she said softly. The moment stretched between them, charged with possibilities, until Lily bounded back to the table with her second scoop of ice cream. "Dad! They have a flavor called Cosmic Swirl. It has pop rocks in it that explode in your mouth like tiny stars.